welcome. I'm the Frugal Knitter. My name's Alison and I'm coming to you today from the Scottish borders in the UK. Yes, I know it's been a long time again. But when I tell you a little bit later what I've been up to and what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of months, you'll realise why. It has been absolutely non-stop this year so far. We've been away, we had a great holiday in Morocco, and yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about that. But what we'll do is we'll crack on and we'll have a bit of a chat going through. As you know, if you've been here before, I tend to waffle on. I go off on a tangent, forget what I've usually started talking about and totally get lost. So it's not a professional podcast at all. If you want fancy music, stunning scenery, don't come here. This is just a traditional podcast where I show you what I'm working on, what I've been up to, and what I'm wearing. Now, as I say, I haven't been here a while, so I am very, very rusty. And just bear with me, you know. It will be chaos. I'll try not to keep it too long because I do have to work today. I don't know if I said, but today is Sunday, the 29th of June, I think. Either 28th or 29th, I think it could be the 29th. We'll go for Sunday the 29th of June. It's about 9:30 in the morning. And and I do have to start work later on. So you can find me on Ravelry as the Frugal Knitter 2. I'm on Instagram as the Frugal Knitter. You can email me, and please do, at thefrugalknitter@gmail.com. And I think that's about it. Oh, message me below. If you do like this content, then please like and subscribe. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I noticed that I did have quite a few new ones from last time. Even though I've been inactive here, it's really nice to see that the channel's still been slowly growing. So that's made me really happy, and it spurred me on. And the whole time that I haven't been on here, you know, I am continuously, it is in my mind, I am thinking about it. I did put on a couple of shorts where I did knitting in beautiful places. That was the end of last year, but then the weather got so bad and we couldn't get out to the beautiful places. Now yesterday we did go off to a place locally called Chillingham Castle, which was great. I'll tell you about that a bit more later. And it was creepy, to say the least. It was fantastic, but it was very creepy, and I've got some footage in there. I took my knitting and we've got a bit of footage at the end there for you to watch as well. So welcome, thank you for being here, and we'll get started. Now, just before I get started, I will say to you that last week, this is part of my finished objects, last week it was my daughter's wedding. And we went out to a lovely hotel called the Stair Arms in Pathhead on the way to Edinburgh. It was a wonderful day, fantastic. She arranged it and organised and did it all herself. Full credit to her and to Cammy, new husband, and the kids as well. We had a fantastic day. I met up with my brother and sister-in-law that I hadn't seen for a number of years. So that was great. And it was just a lovely, lovely day. And then we drove home. We couldn't stay the night in the hotel because of my dogs. I didn't want to leave them. Well, I couldn't leave them all night. And so we drove home at night in an electrical storm. I don't know, I think it was, people heard about it across the country because it was that bad. It went on for hours. And we have to go across some very high hills to get back into the borders. And it's called Sutra. So we were driving across Sutra, and the sky was just being lit up by all this lightning that was one bolt after another. I've never seen anything like it, and we don't get many thunderstorms Up here, when I lived down south in Buckinghamshire, we had, you know, thunder and lightning regularly during the summer. But up here, you don't really get that many storms. So this was totally amazing. And we was on top of Sutra, which is just outside of, well, 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive from Edinburgh. Up on top of this hill, going across the hill and then dropping back down to get back into sort of like the eastern side of the borders. And oh my gosh, I mean, you could see for miles. The sky was just lit up. It was like daylight, and it was just one bolt after another. Quite scary in some ways. It wasn't raining. It did start to rain as we got closer to home, and more thunder. But yeah, it was absolutely amazing, and it was really cool to be out there in that. Yeah, so that was that. Anyway, I see I've already gone off on a tangent, but I wanted to show you these. And my daughter, she had an illustrator at the wedding, and she was doing these quirky illustrations, and that there is the illustration they did of myself and my granddaughter, who was the flower girl, which I thought was just lovely. And look how slim I look. Don't I look fabulous? I didn't look like that, not really. Yeah, the clothes looked like that. My fascinator looked like that. My granddaughter looked like that. But I am not that slim. But I just thought she caught them lovely. And then we had one done of myself and my brother and my sister-in-law. And it's funny there, because my brother, he's 6 foot tall. I'm only not quite 5'2". So as you can see there, she's maybe a little bit taller and a little bit slimmer. And the same goes for my sister-in-law Sue as well. She's probably a little bit, about the same height, I think. Yeah. So they was lovely, and I shall put them in a frame and keep them forever, because it was just such a lovely memento, and it makes me look so fantastic. So that was that. So what am I wearing? So this is the anchor shirt. I don't know if I've shown you this before. I might have shown you while I was knitting it. So this, I've worn it and worn it and worn it. And do you know, I never took a photograph of it and put it on Ravelry. So that's something I must do. And it's worn really well. I wear it all the time and get loads of compliments on it. So that is my anchor shirt by Petite Knit. And it's knitted in Drops Bell. And the colour, because I did have a couple of balls left. Colour 11, but I think it's, the colour is upside down. I think the colour was Antique Rose, something rose anyway, and I really like this. So yeah, and I also did like a sleep, I did the baby version of, it's like a romper suit for my granddaughter when she was born. So I keep looking in the wrong, if I'm not looking at you, please forgive me. I must try and remember to look in the right place. Yeah, so I did a baby version of this, like little, it had legs and arms, and I did that in some yarn that was being given away, some 4-ply that was given away, and I did that, and she wore that all through the winter as well. So that's that. So what am I, I'll just have a swig of my coffee. I need 2 cups of coffee before I get going in the morning. This is only my second, so please excuse me. I've got it in my knitting mug, which I got from a charity shop for 50p, and I think it was brand new. But I do have another one in grey, which Megan, my daughter, bought me. So I'll put up the wedding photograph actually at the very end of, well, I might put it up here. I'll put it up here now so you can see the wedding photograph of us all. Okay, so what am I working on? So I've been a bit naughty just lately, and I've never been one for hand-dyed yarn, probably because of the price more than anything. I was into my sock knitting, but I was using commercial yarn like West Yorkshire Spinners and Wool Warehouse Yarn Smiths, which is incredibly soft and incredibly economic. If any of you used it, or if you haven't used it, thoroughly recommend it. It's fantastic. But I just had this, I don't know, it was New Year, and I just fancied trying out some hand-dyed yarns this year. So I haven't gone mad, but I have bought a couple of skeins. But saying that, I still like a bargain. And I was in my local charity shop, British Heart Foundation, in Kelso, and I managed to find 6 balls of Peyton's Linen Look. Now they are discontinued, as you can tell by the label. It's pretty vintage looking. I don't know when it was discontinued. If you go on to Ravelry, there are quite a number of projects made in this. It's not too bad to knit with. It was all wrapped up. It wasn't at all fusty. Lovely. It's not too bad to knit with. It's okay. I don't like the finished fabric, then I don't like the colour. So why did I buy it? Did you say I bought it because it was only 50p a ball? That's why I bought it. And I will use it. I will wear it. Probably nothing, you know, not going to be going out doing anything special. But it's okay for at home. It's okay for when I'm sitting working at home. And I'm just doing a toaster tee with it. I think I should have enough. This has been my 3rd toaster tee. The first one I did was bright green with yarn that I got from Barcelona. The second one I did, I think it wasn't in Drop Spell. I can't remember what yarn, but it was a nice blue one with flex. And then, so this is my 3rd one. And I just really did it in, I just didn't know what to do. I just cast it on quick. I think the neck's coming out a bit. But actually I did try it on. It was actually okay. But of course it's a bit drab and boring, but it's okay for at home. It's okay for in the garden. So yeah, so I got 6 balls, 50p a ball. Quick maths, £3. So that'll cost me £3 when I've done it. I should have enough. So yeah, that's that. Now this is in my bag. Got dog fluff there. Yogi, my border collie's not allowed in here, but he does sneak in. And sometimes if I come to bed early, just to watch a bit of TV or do a bit of knitting, I come up early and I do let him creep in because I don't like him being out. He sleeps on the landing outside my door, but I don't like him being on his own. And I've got that in my Gansey by Hogarth bag. Very, very boring. Picked up in charity shop, about 50p. Over at Hoik, which of course is really well known for its cashmere knitwear. And I think that must have been what somebody brought something in and then they just donated the bag. That's that. So, I'll show you this. So for the last probably a couple of months, I've been slowly working on this crochet blanket. Now I don't crochet as a rule. I'm not very good at crocheting. I can do triples and doubles, but I get muddled up which is which because I learnt on YouTube, and obviously the American it's the opposite way around. So I don't know really what I'm doing. I got this pattern from Attic 24. A lady at my knit group was making one in some beautiful colours. But I'm just using this scraps of acrylic yarn that's collected up over the years, and this is it so far. I can't remember the name of the pattern though, but if you go on to Attic 24, I'm peeking through the holes now so I can see what I'm showing you. It is quite big so far, but I've got lots more to do. I want it to go on a double bed, so I'm just picking it up in between my knitting projects and doing it while I'm working, because I can just work on it without thinking, I'll use this as a, I can use that as a thumbnail. So yeah, so I'm pleased with that. Now I crochet really weird, and I hold my hook and my yarn both in the right hand as if I'm knitting, and it works okay. I don't think it would be any good. I couldn't use it for knitting a garment, like if I had to do anything to any particular tension, although a crocheting friend of mine said it didn't look too bad. But I don't really, I can't do anything more than squares and blankets and things. And a lady at knitting, in our knitting group, she said that she would very kindly teach us to crochet, the ones that couldn't crochet, and I tried again, trying to do it properly, and I got such a tangle and lost my patience and gave up. Yeah. So that's that. I've got this in my sheepy bag, which was a bag that I picked up, I don't know, it could have been Home Bargains or somewhere like that, probably for £1, £2, I don't know, can't remember, I've had it ages. What else am I doing? Socks. So I finished one sock. Now this was my downfall for the hand-dyed fibre. So just after Christmas I decided that I don't know what came over it. I think I was watching everybody's podcasts on their showing what they with their advents and everything, and all these lovely little mini skeins and that of their hand dyed yarn and what they was doing with the I thought, well, I can't do that, I haven't got any leftovers hand dyed yarn. So I thought, oh, maybe if I started using some hand dyed yarn by Christmas I would have a few that I could ball up and either swap for Christmas advent or do something, I don't know. So anyway, so this is, I sent for the sock set in February, it was either January or February, and yeah, so I sent for, I can get away with, I've worked it out, so it's not so bad as I thought, because I don't need to buy 100 gram skeins. I can get away with a 50 gram skein and then 20 gram mini, because I'm a size 5 and I usually cast on 56 stitches. I've got narrow feet, and I think I could either go down, I knit in a 2.5, but I think I could actually go down again to a 2.25, or even get away, I might even try a 54 stitch, because I've got really narrow feet. And even if they turn out to be a bit tight, because I never do a swatch for socks, in fact I rarely do a swatch for anything. But if I think if they didn't fit and they was a bit too tight, what I could do is I could give them to my middle daughter Emily, because she's got quite narrow feet and she's only a size 4, 4.5. So but I like them to be quite snug anyway, and of course they do give a bit over time. So I think I'll go down a needle size to begin with to a 2.25, and see how it goes, and then I might even, well, I doubt if I'll go down to 2.25 and less stitches, but I think I want to try with 2.25 when I get to some for small needs. So that's that. So it's my normal sock recipe is just, I think I do 15 to 20 rows for the ribbon, and then I do a heel flap and gusset, and then I just measure to the sort of like the knuckly bit of my toe, and then I just cast off the remaining stitches with kitchen stitch. I did have a go at toe up, but I had trouble casting on. I found it so fiddly, I kind of gave up. I thought, I'm not comfortable with this, but I will have another go. I will persevere, because I want to do the new socks that the latest one she's brought out by Nancy Wheeler, because they look absolutely gorgeous, and I want to have a go with them. And I did try to cast on, and I just got in a flat with it. So yeah, so that's that. I've nearly finished the other one. Where is the other one? I can't even find the other one. I'll tell you the colour of it. That's how far I've got with the other one. So not far to go, and I just work on these, the straight bits while I'm working. So I've done that. And put my glasses on. So I think the colour's Zeus, and that's Blue Fern Yarns. So I'm feeling like a proper podcaster now, holding up my little things that go around the skeins. Oh dear. So I'm not going to go mad, but I am enjoying, and I have got, I think it was March's one that she brings out each month, colourway to knit up next. So there's some really lovely colours in there. And it looks quite boring, but then when you get up close, it's lovely. Yeah, so that's those. What else have I been doing? I've been doing more than that. I've lost, oh, hang on. Oh, I haven't showed you this. This is what I need to show you. This is a finished object. See, I'm absolutely hopeless. Everything's hicklety-picklety. I've got no structure. Right. So my daughter chose a dress for the wedding. It was a coast dress that she picked up, but she didn't have anything to go around her shoulders if it was cold. It wasn't cold, it was baking hot. They got married on June 21st, which of course was the summer solstice. And so this is the Spindrift Shawl? Yeah, Spindrift Shawl by Helen Stewart. And I'd seen this on the Ruth Loves to Knit podcast. I think she'd done a couple of them. And I thought I only had about a week to get it done. So we went up to, and I suppose really it was an excuse for me to buy some more hand-dyed yarn. So I said, well, you want it in something nice, you know, it's got lots of drape, it's beautiful. And I said to her, right, we'll go up to our local, it's not really a yarn store, they do more things. It's called the Wonky Giraffe. It's a lovely store, but it's mainly for people that do patchwork and quilting. So they don't have much yarn there, and they only have, we went in, they probably had about 10 to choose from. And there was a peachy colour one, which I think now we should have chose, because this didn't match perfectly, but it looked okay. Everybody complimented her on it. So, and she didn't take it off the whole day. I made it just in case it got a bit chilly when we was outside, but she had it on when we left, and she had it on when she come back, and I think we had a bit of a dance, and she took it off for that for about 10 minutes, and then it went back on again. And she said she wasn't hot at all. So there was a lovely breeze actually going through the hotel, which was nice. I had all the doors open and everything. And the garden was quite shady. So yeah. Now this took, I did this in, oh gosh, what was the name of the yarn? Fiddle Yarns? Was it Fiddle Yarns? Yeah, I think this is the trouble, I never write notes down when I do it. And I should start, I think it was Fiddle Yarns. It was Fiddle Yarns, pretty sure. But I can't remember the name of the colourway. As I say, I didn't have much to choose from, but I chose this. Now what happened was, with the actual pattern, I think you only went up to about there. So, and it wasn't, I didn't think it was deep enough. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll do a few more rows of the eyelet rows, and which is what I did. And I kept pushing it and doing another row and another row. And then I got plain yarn chicken. Sorry. Plain yarn chicken, and then I got to the last row and I ran out of yarn halfway along the last row, cast it off. So I thought, oh no. So my daughter came round and I said, there's a mistake. Can you see it? And she looked and she looked and she didn't spot it. Can you spot it? I didn't run out of yarn once. I ran out of yarn twice. And of course, not being a hand-dyed yarn knitter, I thought, oh no, what am I going to do? I thought, I can't just stick some horrible piece of acrylic that's totally cut the end. But I did start a blanket 2 years ago. And I bought loads and loads of minis. This was when I first got back into knitting, and I bought loads of minis, 20 gram minis from Botanical Yarns. And I'm only now still just probably about 3/4 way through this blanket. I don't pick it up very often, and it's sock yarn. So I thought, oh, I'll have a rummage through because there's bound to be, because it was all these beautiful colours. I thought there's bound to be something, but there wasn't. I found one little tiny nugget, literally tiny nugget that I had left, and I had to finish it off. So that's, turn it around. So that's the original colour going along there. That, where are we? No, got it show you the wrong way now. So that's the original colour, and then that is what I had to go in with. So that was where it swapped over. That is what I then started knitting with this nugget, and then wait for it, right, I managed to get to there, and I ran out again, and I thought, oh no, and then I literally found like a piece of yarn like this long, which I know it's a different colour, but it kind of blends in. Nobody noticed it, you know, and I thought, well, it's just going to have to be. I thought that can be its little... So I watched a podcast. Podcasts are called Not Quite Enough Yarn. So I really think I should show her that because I absolutely pushed it to the limit. So I didn't run out once but twice, just on the cast off, and of course it was that picket edge. I just didn't allow enough because obviously you're using more yarn to do that. So that's that. She's really pleased with it. I had to ask for it back so that I could show you, but it really did look lovely, and I'll put a picture up here. And I haven't took any pictures of it yet, so I really must. But I do have a couple with her wearing it. So yeah. So that's that. So I should have showed you that at the beginning, shouldn't I? I didn't, because that's what I'm like. My wool winder, now that I'm getting into hand-dyed jars, my wool winder has broken. I don't know what's wrong with it. It twirls around like this, as if it should be winded on properly. But it kind of only does one side, so it's coming out fat one end and narrow the other. So I need a new one. I've only got a cheap one. It's this, just one of these that I've got. I don't feel as if I do enough to warrant spending lots of money. I don't have a Swift, and you're going to laugh at this one. I don't know if I should really admit to this, but what I do is when I get, it sort of like defeats the object really, but when I get the skein, I'll do it the old fashioned way, and I put it on, I'll actually wrap it round a drawer. I'll pull out a drawer and I'll wrap it around there, it fits perfect. So I then wrap it into a ball like you would, you know, round and round and round. If my daughter's not here, she usually sits like this, moaning. But she's getting better because she's now a knitter herself. So so I put it around the drawer, round and round and round. So I've got a nice big ball. And then I stick the ball in my bowl. And then I was winding it around on this. So I got a nice cake rather than this ball, because I do wind quite tightly. I know that's not good, so I would then take the ball and put it onto this, because obviously I can't wind this and do this at the same time. So really, ideally, I would like, I've got lots of work coming up, July and August. I'm going to be hectic. I'm going to be working every day solidly. From early in the morning till quite late at night. I'm not going to get any time off, so I thought I'm going to buy myself a present. And I thought what I would buy myself would be a Swift and a new one of these. So if anybody can recommend, please, that's your job for this month, please, is if you could, if you've got a Swift and one of, a wool winder, could you recommend one that's not too expensive? It doesn't have to be dead cheap, because this one was, and it did the job for a while, but then I haven't really had to wind that much yarn, so it hasn't lasted long. But if you could give me a recommendation of where I can get a decent one, that would be great. Even if it's not a Swift, a Swift as well, just the wool winder is the most important thing, and then I can perhaps get a Swift later on. So what was I talking about? I was showing you the shawl. Anyway, my daughters recently got into knitting, which is fantastic. I'm really pleased about that. And she knitted me a shawlette for Christmas, and I got her for Christmas, it was just acrylic yarn, because obviously I didn't know she was going to carry on, she was going to enjoy it. I got her some Aran weight yarn, and she's doing the step-by-step sweater by, what's the lady's name? She's got a podcast and everything. I can't think. But anyway, she's doing the step-by-step sweater. She's getting along with that nice. She's just doing because she hadn't picked it up. She works with me as well when she's at uni. She does the Open University. She didn't want to go away to study, so she's doing history with the Open University. So that takes up quite a lot of her time because she's doing it full time. But she also works alongside me some of the time as well. So she's also been very busy. So she hasn't really done anything much. She did. She's got as far as she's doing the left and right increases on the yoke. So she's working her way through that, and she's really loving it. And I thought, oh, I've got somebody to go to Yarndale with. So I've always wanted to go to Yarndale, and yeah, I know I could go. I've been to yarn festivals and that on my own before, but I just thought we could make it like a bit of a breakaway. So we booked into Yarndale this year, and because hopefully then we won't be busy. The busy bit will be over by then, hopefully. And we've just booked into, looks like a lovely Airbnb, a mile away from a mile away from Skipton. I think it's about a 10-minute drive in the car to get to Yarndale. So we booked our tickets, really excited. I went on their website. Oh no, I've been spending money. I'm not very frugal. I'm going to have to change the name, I think, of this podcast. Because I purchased for her, she didn't really have a very good bag to keep her yarn in. So I got one of the big shopper bags, the Yarndale shopper bags with one of these sheep on. I can't remember which one it is because they've all got different names. And then I'm getting more into my sock knitting. I've got 2 or 3 pairs on the go. So I got myself the small sock bag. I can't remember how much it was. I think it was £6.50. It wasn't expensive. Now which one is this? I can't remember the name of it now. Can't remember the name of the sheep. I think this was last, because each year they bring out a new sheep, design a new sheep, and this was, I think, 2024's, and I think on Iona's bag it was the 2023 sheep. her bag, I think it was £12, but it's a really good shopper bag. She's got a sweater in there that she's knitting, and but she says she's going to take it to Yarndale. But yeah, so we're really excited about that. I've always wanted to go. It's about, I would say it's about 3 or 4 hour drive from here to get there. So it's not too bad. So I've started knitting after the Follow Your Path socks by, I always forget her name, Kay Litton, the Crazy Sock Lady. So I'm doing these in this gorgeous, again I bought this locally. There's a yarn shop over at Jedburgh. Again, she doesn't do much hand-dyed yarn, but my daughter Iona, she was taking Eliza, my granddaughter, to Jedburgh Jail to have a look round on Friday. Usually take her out on a Friday after school, because they finish early here in the Borders, but I think she's on holiday now anyway. So they finish really early, so we usually finish work earlier on a Friday, so we usually take her out on Friday afternoon. We took her to the castle up at Jedburgh, and it's a long walk up to the castle, and I've been around there so many times, so I'm really going to face it again. And I've got a really bad foot at the moment. It's been going on since January now. Doctors don't know what's wrong with it. I'm under a consultant, they still don't know. And I couldn't face walking up there. So I thought, well, I'll go in the yarn shop, and it is so dark in there. It is a little old-fashioned shop that is hardly any light in. And I thought I'd picked up some blue yarn, but I think the colour that it's showing there, see, for me, it looks grey at the moment. There on the screen, I think it's more true to colour. Actually, the colour that it's showing on the screen is more true to colour than what I'm seeing at the moment. And it's kind of like a lilac-y colour with little specks of blue going through it. As you can see, I had to wind that up by hand. And not very well done either. And this is how it's coming out. So for this, you use the left twisted slip stitch, which I've never used before. And I don't know if you can see that there. So it's nice and easy. It's just a 4-row repeat. And she does a little video as well to show you how to do that stitch, but it's dead simple. I just watched it once and I knew what to do. Because as you read it, it's difficult when you read it in the pattern. There's no other way of writing it in more detail, but it's dead easy. All it is you knit in the back of the second stitch on your needle, and then the first stitch on your needle, you slip it off purlwise, and then you drop the second stitch. So it's really, really easy. But I did need to watch because when it's written down, it doesn't sound that easy. It's dead simple, so I did watch the video. But that's the beginning of those, and I'm keeping that in my bag. And so I didn't tell. I said the colour of the yarn. Now in this shop, again, they only had about 10 to choose from, and now this yarn, it was dyed in February 23, and it's probably been sitting in their shop that long. I don't think there's that many people that actually knit with hand-dyed yarn in the area. I know there's nobody in my knit group that tends to use it. There's one lady, she does occasionally, I think, but yeah. So this is by Cookston Crafts, and they're up in Aberdeen. And this colourway was Barra. So I'm presuming that they've named it after the Isle of Barra, which is in the Western Isles. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. So that's I think 75% merino. Yeah, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and so it's super soft. So that's the beginnings of that. So hopefully next time I see you, that'll be finished. Okay, so what else? Oh, spinning. I'm not a spinner, as you're about to see, right? But a lady at Knit Group, she was talking about how she used to know somebody years ago. She's lived out in Canada for a number of years, most of her married life, and then we got chatting, and she was telling me about how she knew this lady out in Canada that used to spin all her, she had the sheep, then she used to spin all her wool by drop spindle and then knit everything up. And she said, oh, I've got a drop spindle. She goes, but I never used it. I said, yeah. I said, me too. I said, I've got a drop spindle and I've never used it. I've done a very, very, very little amount on it. I mean, very little amount. And she goes, bring it in and show me. So I took it in and it got me. I thought, oh, well, I'll have a little go on it. So this is my attempt, which I don't think it's too bad, is it? I don't know. Can you see that? I'm not a spinner, so I don't know if that's, no, obviously it is my first. I haven't got anybody to show me, so I'll take a bit more off there. It's a bit slubby or whatever you call it. Yeah, so I think it's okay-ish. I've got quite into it and I would like to carry on. Now this has been sitting in my bag for ages, but that's what I did over a couple of days, just having a go. Ooh. And this is what I think it's Shetland yarn. Now I don't know anything about spinning, so it's something I've always wanted to do. This has been in my bag so long, you can still smell it a bit, but it's actually gone off. But it is Shetland wool, undyed obviously. And is this good for a beginner? I don't know, could somebody tell me? I would like to have a go and concentrate on it properly. So if somebody could tell me also what type should I be, what breed sheep should I be getting this from? I don't even know what it's called. My other friend from knitting, she's just given me a book on spinning. It's from the 70s and it has got about drop spindling in there, so I'm going to start reading it because I really do need to know what things are called. Will you believe that I lived in Shetland on the Isle of Hunts for about 2.5 years, and I used to go along to Knit Group and I used to knit, but many of them were spinning. That was my ideal opportunity to learn how to spin. And I thought, no, it's too difficult. And there was all such lovely ladies. I'm sure they would have shown me. And but yeah. But I remember as a kid trying to make one of these with a potato, because I read somewhere that you can make one with a potato. But obviously I was probably about 10 at the time and didn't stand a chance of doing it properly. So I'll just show you what I've done. So, right, because I've got 3 lots here. And I'll just show you how I'm gradually improving. So I sent for my spinning wheel from the Wool Bothy. I think it was on eBay. And it just showed you there how to get started and that. And I think that was that the first one I did? No, that wasn't the first one. Because I think I'm gradually getting better. But this was the first one that I did. Okay, so as you can see, it's all pretty awful. That was the first one I ever did, and this was the second one that I did, and I think that was quite good. But that was, I think it was different. I think again it was Shetland yarn, and I think that's not too bad, is it? I don't know. If any of you are spinners, can you tell me, can you over twist it? Or, because sometimes it twists back on itself. Is that the point that you wrap it around your spindle? Or has it got too much twist in it? I don't know. If anybody's knows of any good YouTube videos as well, please tell me about it. So that was the first one. That was the second. And then I had the big gap. And then I hadn't done it for sort of like a couple of years. And then that was when I went back to it, that was my attempt again. So again, that was the first attempt. And then, so I think my last attempt's not too bad. I would love it so that I could spin reasonably well. But I'll tell you what I did wrong. I've been doing it, twisting it anti-clockwise. So I'm presuming when eventually I put two lots together, I'll have to spin it clockwise, and then next time when I do any properly, because this is all just practice, when I do some properly, I'll have to remember to spin it clockwise, and then when I apply them both together, I'll have to do it anti-clockwise, because this time I've done it anti-clockwise. Does it matter? I suppose as long as you do one way and the other way, that's fine. So anyway, so that's what I've also been spending some time doing, and I've really enjoyed it. I find it really relaxing. So I've just been doing the park and drive method so far, and I hate it when it breaks. I do find it hard to get it going again. I've been watching videos. I'm getting better. Obviously, I know it's going to take a long time, but any tips would be gratefully received. So I think that's all I've got to show you. 2 pairs of socks, the spinning, the shawl, my blanket. That's it. Yesterday, as I say, we went out to Chillingham Castle. We've recently purchased some historic houses cards so that you can get in for free, a bit like the National Trust. The only things with these cards is that you have to pay up front. You can't pay monthly by direct debit for them. So back at it's probably about May time, I bought 2 tickets for myself and I and my daughter, and we was going to start going to some houses, because we were members of the National Trust, but around here there's not many National Trust houses, and we could only get to use them when we went away and did our house sitting, which was great. So we're not members of the National Trust anymore. So we're now members of historic houses, and it's about the same price, but you have to pay it up front when you join. So I think I paid £130 for both of us. So that was £65 each for the year. And we've got loads of houses around here. There's lots of stately homes and castles. We're very lucky like that to go and visit. So yesterday we went to Chillingham, and it's the home also of the only wild cattle in Britain, and we saw some of those along the road on the way back. You can actually pay to have a tour of these cattle, but it was closed when we went there. But we did see some little calves in a field, which was really cute. They were so lovely, and we looked around the house, and oh my gosh, it was so creepy. I didn't realise that it had been used. I think Derek Okora had been there filming, and I don't know, some other ghost hunters and that, and ooh, it really was. It wasn't. It was fun. It was good. There was a chamber, like a torture chamber, and oh my god, the things in there. And then there was the, what do you call it, where they put you just before they're going to do away with you, one of those. Just a little tiny square box. Apparently at one point there were like 20 people in there. So anyway, I've put some footage in. I won't go into loads of detail. I'll put some footage in. I did a little bit of knitting in the gardens. I'll show you that. I was going to put it up as one of the shorties of knitting in beautiful places. So I might do a bit of that with the footage as well. The gift shop was really good actually, and there was some Emma Ball stuff in there. So I went mad. I needed a new tape measure, so I got myself a tape measure. Mine, sometimes you pull it out and it don't retract, so it's a real pain in the neck. So that's Emma Ball. And I just suddenly realised, I didn't realise till now, there's a different, I like that one. I thought they had 2 different ones there, but it wasn't. A different ones on the back and on the front. So that was handy. So I purchased that little tape measure. It's soft and squidgy, it's nice. And then I bought my daughter a little tiny weeny notions tin to keep her stitch markers in. And then I suddenly thought, so I'm trying to get up in my knitting bag, so I've got a whole set, so if I'm out and about, I can just pick up the bag and it's got everything in there that I need. My stitch markers, a tape measure, and just that. So I got one for myself as well. And I think they were £1.50, but my daughter's mad on puffins, and then it's got a little slidey lid. So it's just the right size for a sock bag. Just put a few stitch markers. Yeah, I've got a bigger Emma stitch marker tin, well, notions tin. But that's that. So I don't think there's anything much to tell you. As I say, I am going to be dead busy. I'm currently working literally non-stop. I've got my job that I work, which I'm cutting down. It's 0 hours, and I literally choose what hours I want to do. So I'm cutting down on those hours. As long as I do 20 hours a week, I'm fine, because I work as a telephone fundraiser from home. So that allows me to do a bit of knitting. If it's like just plain knit, that's okay. And then most of my working life, I've been head housekeeper at various big houses, couple of stately homes, and big country houses, hotels as well. And so we found our position in just over a year ago, working over at a big country house, just looking after the holiday cottages. And when I say holiday cottages, they're massive. They're really big luxury luxury houses, really. We call them holiday cottages, but they really are beautiful. And then there's a big house that goes with that, and the owners only come back, they live abroad, and they only come back once a year for a month. The house was absolutely gutted and all refurbished and everything, this big mansion house. And so we've actually got to go in after the builders to get it all sorted out and all ready for the family for when they arrive. They're also taking over all the holiday cottages as well. So we're working non-stop with that. July, getting the house ready, August, when they're going to be there. And then probably just the beginning of September, when we have to clear up after they've left. So we're busy doing that. I also dog train as well. I have classes on a Saturday morning. And so I've been really, really busy. I've tried to get in some cycling and some wild swimming. Really do enjoy that. But it's been difficult because I've had this bad foot of mine. Don't know what's wrong with it. Don't know what's going to happen with it, but it's just awful. I'm trying to not have the painkillers because I don't like taking lots of painkillers. So it's all strapped up all the while, and it's a real pain. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Next Saturday is going to be so busy for me. I've got a dog training class in the morning. I've then got to go off and work in these holiday cottages, and then I've got to come home, hop on the train, go up to Edinburgh, because Emily and Iona, my two daughters, they bought me tickets to go and see Marty Pellow in concert at Edinburgh Castle. Yay! So I've always wanted to see Wet, Wet, Wet. Unfortunately, I never got to see them as Wet, Wet, Wet. I'm just going to see Marty Pellow, but I'm sure he'll be fantastic. So I'm hoping the weather's going to be good for that. I'm going with Emily, my daughter that lives in Edinburgh. So then we can go back to her place that evening. And then on Sunday, I've actually took the day off of my normal fundraising job. And hopefully I'm going to see if I can get to, I think the Ginger Twist studio is open. And then there's another yarn shop that I've never been to in Edinburgh. I'm going to try and get to that one as well. And then I should probably come home Sunday evening, start work again on Monday morning. So yeah, and then we've booked up, it's my birthday in July. So we've booked into a wild campsite next to, it's on a farm. Well, it's wild camping, it's semi-wild camping. We're going camping and we're taking all our gear so we can go wild swimming there, because there's a big lake and you can go wild swimming in the lake. So we're going to go camping and wild swimming. That's for my birthday. That's only for 2 nights. And then we've got Yarndale in September. Hopefully I should be back before then. I'm going to try and get back in within the next month if I can. If not, I'll see you when everything's died back down and things have gone back to normal. But thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Yeah, happy knitting and enjoy the sunshine. Bye bye.